Trowbridge says there's one thing you could do that you haven't done in life, well, not necessarily musically, anything at all, you know, jumping from 35,000 feet, going submarine, whatever. What would be the one thing you think, I just love to do that one thing, whatever it costs?
I'd love to go in space. I just love to go outside. I love stars. I will sit in my back garden and I just look at the stars. I'm in awe of how little we are. But just to actually go out of the planet.
They're not really little, Bobby.
No, I mean it's taller than mine.
Just checking. I mean,
I haven't told anyone that, have I?
Yeah.
But just, you know, when I see things on YouTube like the astronauts like floating around and they're taking photographs. I just find all that fascinating, and just to go out of it, and then you see how small the world really is.
Cheryl, what about you? You forgot the question.
No.
Okay.
I can't remember this time. Nothing. I'm going to be boring and say I want to see my children succeed.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, I've done
good
such a lot of stuff. I've done the 35,000 feet. Doing record breakers, I did so many stupid things, you know, stupid stunts. Stood on top of a plane and did the longest rope slide in the world, and I went in the book several times because I was on the programme.
Yeah.
And we've been number one, which was of course a childhood dream. We won the Eurovision childhood dream. So I've done practically everything. So I just want to see my children succeed. That's it.
How do you first tell your children that this is what I do? What's the first song you play and say, this is what Mummy does? And they go, oh really?
I didn't. They were born in 94. And so by the time they went to school in 98, I was on telly every other day or more, doing different programmes. And they saw me all the time, but I wasn't in Bucks Fizz anymore. I'd left because I had the children. And so they saw me on telly and they thought everyone's mummy is on the telly. So they didn't think anything was unusual. And they went to school. My name is Rita, as all the fans know, Rita Stroud. And they went to school and the other children said, your mummy is Cheryl Baker and she's from a famous pop group and our mummy's told us. And they were distraught. My kids were distraught that I hadn't said to them, this is what I do and this is my name. They came back and went, you've lied to us, we know your real name. And I went, oh no, what about that? I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So that was yeah.
Still.
Cool.
Yeah.
My two little godsons went to look behind the TV the first time they did it.
Oh yeah.
And to see where I was, and I wasn't there. Jay, what about you?
Which question are we on? Are we on about the...
What the question about one thing you'd like to do in your life, something really ultimate that you've never done, that you think...
Well, I'd like to do a lot more travelling, but I'd like to be able to bring my family. So, yeah, more travelling, see my daughter and my husband succeed, all those things. And what was that last question you just said about your kid? When I first went back into the band, as far as my daughter knew, she was about 4 or 5, I was a teacher. I had a theatre school for children. So she was just at that age where she's becoming aware. And then when Cheryl phoned me when I was digging the garden out and she said, oh, Shelley's left, you know, are you interested in coming back? My life changed back to how it used to be quite quickly. And it was quite interesting because my daughter said, I didn't know, because obviously she didn't know anything about Bucks Fizz. So it was quite interesting for her to kind of go through that and go and realise I had another life, which obviously she knew nothing about.
Yeah, extraordinary. Mike, what's your special thing that you can tell us about?
I've got a few. No, the one I can only think of at the moment to tell you. I would love to do a film. See, I know you should start laughing because the only problem I have with doing a film is you've got to learn the lines.
What's that?
No, you could do.
That's what I knew you would laugh,
You could do a
Cheryl.
silent one.
Silent movie. That's it. You need to bring it back.
We make a Buster
But
Keaton
you know,
style.
if I study the script, I really have to study a script. I mean, the guys I work with now in Pantos, they send me the script early. So,
January the 1st.
Yeah, we finish. Yeah, January 1st.
Panto's not till December, the January the 1st
comes
is the first to
through.
get the script.
And yeah, I actually do love acting, but I couldn't be a serious actor. But I look. You've worked with me, haven't you, in Panto? You know what I'm like. And it's the part that's supposed to be funny, but it's like be funny, but not try to be funny. Just people will laugh what you're doing. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, well, you're naturally funny anyway.
Yeah,
No.
Because that's life, isn't it?
You are naturally funny. You are.
Well, that's what I do. But if I was doing that in the film, you'd have to do it properly, so you like naturally do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to do. I would love to do that.
So which panto are you doing this year?
It's Aladdin.
Okay, and you are?
The genie.
Wishy-washy.
The lamp.
Listen, I wouldn't mind the lamp because the lamp hasn't got any lines.
So the new album, do you have a name? You've got some of the tracks already. When's it coming out? You know, can you fill the fans' diaries with when they should go out and buy it?
Which question should we answer first?
Any of those in any order?
We've got a name.
And
name.
I
Jay came
think
up with it.
Yes.
probably the tallest person first.
Jay?
Bobby.
That's today with the heels on, that'll be Jay.
We're going to call it the F to Z of pop.
Okay.
And we're doing a photo shoot tomorrow, actually. So all our designs and ideas are all going to be evolving over the next few days, and fans will see what we're going to come up with.
We can have McCartney, Phil Collins, Peter Gabriel, Olivia Newton-John all pledging and coming in the studio to see what's happening.
How amazing would that be?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
McCartney's got a few, Bob, hasn't he?
Nah.
I think they all have.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So out in September, there's a tour before that.
The
But yeah.
main part of the tour will be post-album. So if the album comes out at the beginning of September, most of the tour dates are September, October, November.
Yes, and we will be doing some new songs on that.
Okay.
So we're not just going to be doing all the old stuff, we're going to be doing some new songs.
Well, presumably doing the new songs from the album as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what we'll be doing.
Great stuff. And then while you're doing that, you'll be looking at songs for the next album.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Third album. Looking for songs for the third album. Got to get it in before the 70th anniversary.
That's right.
Forget it.
Don't worry.
I'll
Roy Allenson said, is it true that you made a film in 1985 in Mauritius and
Yeah.
never came out?
Yeah, terribly
And where is
sad.
it? And
It's
could
in
you ever see it?
someone's garage, and actually when I was sort of coming back into the frame, just before, we had to go and meet a lawyer because this guy had found the footage. The guy who shot the Mauritius show, which was going to be an hour-long show, went bankrupt. So his stuff was seized, and someone had managed to get hold of this footage, and it was in his garage, and he was trying to sell it and get us to sign up to do it, for it to go out. But he wanted a ridiculous amount of money, and it just wasn't viable. And it died because he was just asking for far too much money, which is a shame because it still exists. And it would have been amazing. It was just after the coach crash. It was our first thing back after the crash. So it's a very...
So it's not doing anybody any good. Somebody's got it, they want
Yeah.
too much for it, it's just sitting there.
Yeah, it's very sad because it would have been an amazing show.
Frustrating. Michelle Headley said, what's on your ringtone? If Michelle Headley were to call you, Mike, what would she get? She wouldn't hear your ringtone, but what would you hear?
A general ringtone. I've only got one ringtone on mine who I know it's from. It's the Godfather.
Coldplay, I can't remember the name of the song, or Amy Winehouse.
Okay.
Love is a losing game.
I've got an ordinary one, but my husband has just changed his. When I ring him, it used to be that stabbing scene from
Psycho.
From Psycho.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, brilliant. That says something, doesn't it?
I've just got an old-fashioned phone. You know, you can download the apps for the old-fashioned ring ring because I like those.
Hello?
Paper link.
Yes, can I help you?
So nothing very exciting.
No, boring.
Gary Taylor said, if you could cover one ABBA song, say on your new album, one ABBA song, what would you choose?
Dancing Queen.
Chiquitita.
Take your teeth out.
Take your teeth out.
The winner takes it all.
Winner takes it all.
Good stuff. Victoria Campbell Payne said, here's my question for the foursome. If you could give your younger self some advice, what would it be? If you could look back and say, here's some advice for you, 16-year-old me.
Don't sit up the front of the coach. I'm sorry. That's one advice I would give to people.
Yeah.
And always wear your seatbelt.
Yeah.
Do you know I have terrible rows with people in the car because they get in and they just don't wear the seatbelt. And I said, I'm alright, I know what I'm doing. And you don't know what you're doing. I'm not paranoid about it or anything like that. I just...
Yeah.
People put I've worn seatbelts in the car since 1971. And they said, why are you wearing a seatbelt? I said, why are they put in the car? They put in the car to protect yourself. Always worn one. Not that particular night though.
Well, you don't think about it in something like a coach. In a car you do.
In a car,
Yeah, you don't think of it coach or a bus.
Yeah.
But I used to sit up the front of the coach with a little bit. It's a little one that went across you like that. So if I'd have been wearing that on that night, I'd have broken my back. Wouldn't have gone through the windscreen. I'd have broken my back anyway.
You could have done any sort of damage if
Yeah.
it was going across here. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. That would be
my
your
advice
advice.
to everyone is always wear your seatbelt.
Yeah.
I think my answer would be the same as earlier. Go to the Bucks Fizz audition.
Yeah.
That would be my. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the country. But
Or have Mike sitting on your knee so that it doesn't affect you that much.
that's true. Well, he does that most nights anyway because we do a ventriloquist act.
It's hard to
That's
say,
right.
isn't it?
I can't even say it.
All right.
I'm breaking him in for Cheryl. What would you do?
I don't know. Don't know what to. Because I think I've done it all right. It's a bit of flesh, isn't it? Yeah.
A bit, actually.
Yeah, I do. I think I've done it all right.
But what would you like to do again?
Nothing. I'm really happy where I am.
Would you not like to do the Eurovision
I'd like
again?
to be 40, but I'd like to know everything that I know now, and
Yeah.
I've done everything that I've done now. But I want to be 40 because I want to live longer.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
There's no chance of that.
That's fair. Scott Ramsey said if you could do one Eurovision song that wasn't a Bucks Fizz song of all Eurovision catalogue, what would you choose?
Oh. Go on.
Say it.
It would have to be, what's it called?
How dare you? What's it called?
Would it have to be one of the
song.
winning songs?
No, any song, any Eurovision song.
Any Eurovision song. Do you remember Nono Letar?
Yeah.
That was
Was
beautiful.
it Gigliola Cinquetti?
Yes, it was a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
love
was,
that
the,
one.
what was the other one?
Oh, ABBA would have to be ABBA.
No.
I mean, if you were in ABBA, you'd be made for life.
There were some
I'd
odd
wanna be in
titles
ABBA.
though, weren't there? Like Teachings Ding Ding a Dong.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that was.
And
very
Boom Bang a
special.
Boom Bang a Bang, yeah.
I liked Fairy Tale.
Oh,
Never
right,
Go the
okay.
Bunny. Yeah, I love that.
I think I'm having a flash.
Are you?
Yeah. But my favourite is, what's it called again?
I'm never giving
I'm Never Giving Up.
That's it.
That's my
He
favourite.
paid her to say that.
That 1983 entry that should have won.
Yeah.
Who sang that? Oh,
Shut
that's
your
your one,
face.
isn't it?
This is what he's like on tour.
Angie P from Blackpool said, do you get frustrated you don't maybe get the recognition you deserve as a band? I mean, I think what she means is you are talented, you had a lot of hits, you sing great harmonies, you work well on stage, and sometimes people did that, things like the Osmonds, and you think, they're a fantastic band.
Yeah.
They sing great harmonies, and you say, oh, the Osmonds, yeah, what do you mean, oh, the Osmonds? They're sensational. So do you sometimes feel a little bit, ooh, not why don't you take us more seriously, but why don't we get maybe a little bit more recognition for what we've done?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're not out there and being cool and you're just family entertainment, then sometimes you do get that.
Yeah, it still hangs around your neck, you know, the Making Your Mind Up Eurovision and the four puppets who can't sing. It's still, and there are gigs that we should be doing this year and we're not. And I think for that very reason, we do some festivals and we go down so brilliantly and yet we're way down the list. You see our name sort of at the bottom and you know that there are people that are above you. You've had far more hits and sold far more records.
Yeah.
And yet there's the stigma of Bucks
And
It's
Fizz.
just
And we
perception,
get the
isn't it?
response.
Perception of cool or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name is so low, it's right next to the printer.
It's that very long name. Yeah.
It is frustrating because being like the new member joining them, and it's so I'm now with Cheryl, Mike, and Jay forming Bucks Fizz. Got to say that.
Yeah, we're not for much longer.
And then I say, people go, "Oh, right, are they still going?" I said, "Actually, yeah." And you'd be surprised when they asked me to join. I went out to HMV to buy the Greatest Hits album, and when I asked the guy behind the counter, I said, "Have you got Bucks Fizz's Greatest Hits?" And he sort of went, "Yeah, hang on, I'll go and get it for you." And he went into the back of the shop, and he came out, and I was half expecting him to turn around and say, "Do you want a brown paper bag to take it with you?" Because it was like that, and I put the CD in the car, and I think either one of you, no, you phoned me, and I was driving, and every time a song came on, I kept thinking, God, what a great song! I forgot how good this was, and how many hits you actually had. To go back and revisit them.
We are one of those bands. I would like the Osmonds. Yeah, yeah.
People do say when they come and see you working live, they say to you afterwards, "I've forgotten a lot of your songs. When you started singing them, then I remember them." So people still remember them once you start to sing them. But
Ask them in the
Yeah,
pub
we
quiz.
don't get much airplay, so people aren't reminded of us.
Radio 2's not bad, is it? It's starting to pick up. on
It's strange
Radio
because
2.
in a way you were sort of, you know, an English ABBA in terms of the
Yeah.
sort of harmonies, the hits, the style of them, and the number of hits as well. And yet some bands have that stigma of being, oh, aren't they cool? Aren't they wonderful? And others think, hang on, we're that good as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it.
And Stuart Richardson's talking about your fashion, Jay, about styling the band and where are you going? Where are you going this year with it? Is there a new look? Is there something?
Yeah, there's a new look. We're actually doing the photo shoot tomorrow, so we've got like 5 or 6 different looks. There's a humorous side to us always, which I always try to capture, and I always try to do something a bit different. So I'm always looking for ideas, and then I kind of mix things up, and I know what works for us now.
We don't know what she's going to come up with. She's bringing how many outfits tomorrow?
24.
We don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I saw
We
dustbin
trust her.
lines.
Yes, definitely.
We've done
What about,
dustbin
is there a
liners.
clue in the material, maybe? The sort of
Tartan.
basically all that stuff. Great.
I've just kind of got a bit of a look and a concept in mind. So I've done a rough. I usually do a drawing, and I usually just sort of I know what's going to work, and I can see it. And I work with an art designer, and we throw things backwards and forwards. I usually have to tell him exactly what I want, and then he does it brilliantly.
And even in the drawings, I managed to them, Mike.
Sorry, so you've got ideas. They have no idea what you're going to bring tomorrow.
No.
But presumably you know all their sizes, so you've got everything.
Yes, I know pretty well. Exactly. Yeah.
Anything you can sort of hint at? Any real surprises for the fans?
What's my inside leg?
So the fans can say, "Oh, we knew that, we knew that."
She knows it.
Would there be Velcro involved?
Actually, no. There is a little skirt trick, but it's just one idea for a photograph. It's going to be. I liked the kind of ideas. I think we're quite similar in a way to the Monkees back in the day, and I could see, I get ideas from looking at old stuff. So I've been looking at the Beatles and I've been looking at the Monkees for their old album covers, and so that's given me the ideas. So it's just there's always a sense of humour, and the album cover will be quite graphic, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay, that's interesting. So you've gone for a bit of a retro look.
It's retro, but it's also very now, so it'll be different. Sorry.
So are you going to do the Monkees walk? hey,
Well,
with a fizz.
You think what makes an album cover look striking?
Yeah.
And you think when we did your quiz show, you start thinking about what album covers, and back in the day they were so important. It's more insignificant now with album covers, but it's an opportunity to do some great artwork. So I wanted to do something hopefully that's going to be quite striking. And I always remember visual things. That's how I remember things. So if I'm trying to learn a script, I'll draw pictures. I'm just a visual thinker, so that's how I
A lot of people have asked finally about the future, where you see yourselves going this year, next year, year after, doing the same, spreading out, continuing playing together, doing solo projects. What?
Well, I think it's an ongoing new adventure. I mean, it started since I've been in. It just seems to every year seems to be getting bigger and bigger.
Develops, yeah.
Yeah, we did, like last year we only did a couple of Butlins, big festivals, the big 80s weekend festivals, and we did a big one just before Christmas, and after that, I think we're doing about 9 or 11 this year.
9 or 11, yeah, it couldn't fit in 10.
11!
11!
11!
Yeah, it does, the momentum is growing. And I think, was it you today mentioned the fact that in 4 years it'll be our 40th anniversary? And so I certainly think we'll be celebrating our 40th. I really do. I don't think, we're not winding down, we're winding up. Yeah. Is that the same thing?
But a lot of bands, if they've been doing it for 40, a lot of the bands like from the 60s are still going. It's not necessarily the same lineup, but there's someone in it who's known. Yeah. And you just keep doing it all the time. Yeah.
I think if the fans keep coming out, then
I think it's also if you enjoy it, and and let's face it. I mean, the four of you are lucky. You look good. I mean, and not flashing you, but I mean, it is important in this industry to look. You're instantly recognisable, whereas some people aren't instantly recognisable. Yeah. It's me. I had hits with, oh yeah, that's right. And I think it's pretty important to still look good, still look sharp, keep yourself in shape.
Well, it's really hard to look this good because my face you can't move at the moment because so much Botox in it.
Do you know, why do people have the Botox? What's the matter with them all? All going mad with it.
Well, you look good, so you don't need it.
But listen, I wouldn't even have it. Huh? Guys can grow old gracefully. Women have to have it. But
and may I point out, these ladies haven't. For years they haven't.
The great thing about Mike is he's not remotely contentious, which is good.
No.
And talking of Mike's people, you're working with Mike Stock, so just give me, as we're in his studio, a line each about Mike.
Well, I know that Mike likes me, and that's such a good feeling. And there's no more I can say about him. I just think when we get together with him, he's just going to love me. That's what I mean.
We're in good hands, put it that way.
Yeah.
It's lovely working with him. He knows what he wants, but he's also, if you've got ideas, he lets you put your ideas forward. And I think it's what we've done so far. We're really, really thrilled with. So
and that makes you feel really good. The fact that even when I put an opinion, he will always listen to it. He won't use it, but he will listen to it.
Yeah, I agree with everything the guys have said. He's great to work with. He's got a great team behind him, and even that walking into the studio, there's just a great atmosphere.
That's
just like it's like you're walking, you're going into his home.
Which I'm sure the fans did like that. It's a reminder one more time about the album and what they can do, how they can get hold of it, etc.
The pledge.
Pledge music.
So what the people that want to be involved in the album can do, if they go on to Pledge Music online and put in the Fizz, then it'll come up with all the information of the things that they can be involved in. So
if they can't remember it, they can call me and I can tell them everything that you just told them myself anyway, so there's not a problem there.
We'll update it continually, so...
And we'll update the fans via our Facebook.
And they'll recognise your ringtone anyway, so that's...
they'll know straight away.
Yeah.
Lonely Goat Herd.
No, that's not. Godfather.
It should be.
Sorry.
It should be the Lonely
You
Goat
should have the Lonely Goat Herd.
You really should.
You know that, don't you? Yeah. You should.
You don't know how loud his ringtone is. When we finish the gig and we meet and greet people afterwards, then we get in the car, so it's about 1:30, we're driving home, and everyone's starting to go. Then all of a sudden you hear, hello?
Well, you'd be absolutely thrilled and delighted to know that's all we've got time for. But you can buy the album, of course, and see them out on tour. So we hope we've answered some of your questions at least, and those that we haven't answered are those they didn't want to answer. No, not true. But thanks to the band and get involved with the album.